Hi, my name is Jeff Cameron with Keller Williams, and thanks for tuning in. This is my series on before foreclosure and short sale. What are my options? Today we're discussing, am I protected? And today we're talking about, am I protected from the IRS? So basically, when we look at are we protected, there's two ways from the IRS. One is from profiting on the transaction, and the other would be from debt forgiveness. And that's through doing a foreclosure or a short sale where the bank forgives you for part of the loan amount. So let's first talk about the profit part. That's real easy for an owner-occupant. Currently with today's law, a single person can profit $250,000 and a couple can profit $500,000 without paying taxes on it. For an investor, we're going to look at basically the P&L from the purchase of the asset to the liquidation of it and find out whether or not there's a profit and pay taxes on that. So profit and loss, real easy. Are we protected from the IRS? The part that's difficult is on debt forgiveness. So let's first of all, I'm not a CPA. I'm not here to advise you on tax law. What I want you to do is understand there are issues that you need to consider before you make the decision of either doing a foreclosure, a bankruptcy, a short sale. And one of those is about taxes. So they passed a law in 2007 called the Mortgage Debt Relief Act of 2007, and it was extended through 2011. What that act basically says, and you can read about it, there's a link in this blog that you're watching. What it basically says, though, is for owner-occupants of a there's certain requirements of the type of single-family home or home, but for an owner-occupant, if they did a short sale or foreclosure and it was purchase money, then they would not have to pay taxes on that money, but they do have to fill out the proper forms with the IRS. So you need to contact your CPA, your tax advisor, and find out if this is something that applies to you. And even if you don't have the tax applying to you, but you are able to get the forgiveness, you need to still fill out the proper forms, otherwise they'll come back and bite you later. So I put together a couple of examples for myself. I didn't talk about investors real quick. Let's say an investor buys a home. I bought an investment home and I paid $200,000 for it, and I got a loan for $150,000, and then I sold that home for $100,000 on a short sale. Well, there would be $50,000 of loan forgiveness that I would be 1099 for. So I would have to pay taxes on that $50,000. However, wait, in my example, I bought it for $200. So in my profit and loss, I bought it for $200, sold it for $100, and basically lost $100. So that $50 would go against that. So I still would have a loss of $50. Now that's in my situation. Everyone's situation is different. Let's look at if I lived in that home. If I lived in that home, and again it was purchase money, bought it for $200, sold it for $100, had a loan for $150, I would get 1099 for that $50,000. But now I can turn around and I can use the Mortgage Debt Relief Act of 2007 in order to fill out a form on my IRS or have my tax guy do it and not have to pay taxes on it. And see, these two examples right here show why that law is so important. Because why should an investor not have to pay taxes and an owner-occupant have to pay taxes? And that's why that law was put together, and I believe it'll be extended, but we'll see what happens. So the biggest issues that come up for folks is, what if they did a cash-out refinance? Well, questions that come up there, was that money invested into the property? And all of those questions, you need to talk to the right people, give your specific example to, go through it with them, and either your CPA, your bankruptcy attorney, your tax advisor, find the ones that know about this, deal with it on a daily basis, and get you the right answers, because you don't want to get through this whole mess and then have a huge tax debt to the IRS, because the IRS is the worst. They charge huge fines, huge interest rate, and you can't bankruptcy them away. So again, this is Jeff Cameron with Keller Williams, trying to keep you up to date on the important factors in today's world of before foreclosure and short sale, and say it's, am I protected from the IRS? Hope that helped you, and if there's someone you know that it may help, pass this email along to them, or this the link to this video blog, and subscribe to my site. Thanks again, Jeff Cameron, Keller Williams, 480-502-7699.